Shalom, Kahalo, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who do rule and teach well in this truth. And shalom to the brothers out there pushing this word in sincerity and in truth. I just wanted to touch on the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 2, verse 1. This is the verse says, "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation." And expounding upon that, I want to actually go into the 11th chapter, starting at the 9th verse. This Ecclesiasticus 11:9. It says, "Strive not in a matter that concerneth thee not, and sit not in judgment with sinners." And part of that temptation is wanting to go back into things that you may have done in the past, putting off that old man. And we see it now most today with these other groups, or other camps, I should say, where you have certain Israelites that want to push the word and be a rapper, or I can be a prophet slash NBA player, when you're supposed to be single minded. Now, yes, you have to be in this world, but you're not supposed to be of it. We have to maintain in the society while still being in the spirit, but we're not supposed to give ourselves over to the flesh. And part of that is concerning ourselves with other matters, being fleshly matters, carnal matters, when we're supposed to be maintaining a spiritual mindset, a spiritual focus. Continuing on, it says, "My son, meddle not with many matters, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent. And if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain, neither shalt thou escape by fleeing." And there you have it right there. Meddling means to dwell in, or to take part of. And it says not to meddle with many matters. Now, you may have a job just to have income. A lot of brothers work for themselves with the app-based jobs, but you have some brothers that work for somebody. A lot of brothers actually that work for somebody, a company, or whether it be a individual. It says not to meddle with many matters. You're gonna have people that come up to you saying, "Oh, would you like to hang out after work? Oh, let's go grab a bite to eat. Let's go take a shot after work. Let's go to the club." This, that, and the third. But if it doesn't concern the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, at the end of the day, you shouldn't be meddling with them. You shouldn't be mixing with them. And if you do, you're not going to be found innocent. Continuing on, it says, "There is one that laboreth and taketh pains and maketh haste, and is so much the more behind." So the one person that's basically doing the most is what it's going down to. One person that's trying to be over here and there and running around doing everything, instead of focusing on the one thing that they need to do, which is serving the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, pushing His word, starting with the prophecies, starting with the name Salakia, but then going on to the prophecies. Verse 12 says, "Again, there is another that is slow and hath need of help, wanting ability, and full of poverty." And this is speaking of that poor man that shall be made rich. Because although we may seem to the outside world to be archaic, old, outdated, as they say, "Oh, you're reading from that old book." They call us bums because of our garments, because we preach on the streets. We're not taking extravagant trips, having these big, extravagant high holy days and posting it on YouTube. But it says, "Again, there is another that is slow and hath need of help, And like it says, the work is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Wanting ability, we want to increase in the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. We want to increase in our ability to serve Him, and full of poverty. And as you can tell, they call us the Hebrew Bumalites, I've heard. Yet the eye of the Lord looked upon him for good and set him up from his low estate. So the one that was found doing the work, not worrying about being rich or being flashy or having a common interest with it being PC, there we go, being politically correct. It said, the Lord looked upon him for good and set him up from his low estate. And that's the point. Even if you have to be the poorest of the poor, even if the world may view you in the worst light, as long as the Most High finds you in His favor, doing His work as a good servant, He'll set you up from your low estate. And last verse, and lifted up his head from misery, so that many that saw it marveled at him. And that's the glory, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, that He'll lift us up out of this impoverished state. But you have to be found doing the work, being a good servant, not meddling in the affairs of this world. Shalom.